Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Business Origin Story podcast. And today I have a very special guest with me who is a VA specialist based here in good old Las Vegas. His name is Eric Mehta, and he's here with Amplify Yourself. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Eric?
Hi everyone. Yes, my name's Eric. I've been out here in Vegas for about 4 years now. My parents actually came out here in 2008 to be entrepreneurs themselves. They opened up a store out here after a career of working as an engineer for my dad. I myself, this is my first entrepreneurial endeavor, and I was previously working in the healthcare sector for many years, and I spent some time in the Army as well. So I learned a lot of the skills I'm applying here on the end of kind of management, administration, and just knowing how to be an assistant from my previous work experience.
That's really cool. And so I'm very curious. I ask everyone this. So what inspired you to choose this line of business and get started in this particular industry?
Yeah, so I was pretty thoughtful about it. There's a variety of factors I was looking for a first business, trying to keep the downside minimized, to minimize the risk here. I think there's a lot of really ambitious entrepreneurs out there who would have a higher risk tolerance. So that's not me. So what I like about this is there's no upfront major investment. I didn't need to secure investors. I didn't need to put in a whole lot of capital to get started. I'm not building products or signing leases on buildings. I'm able to run this out of my home. It's completely online. And then there's not a big time lag to get started, at least generating revenue. I think there's a lot of business models out there where you spend a lot of time developing a product or developing a service or building a team before you're ready to get revenue, and that's really not the case. You're just ready to start getting to work. It's also a B2B service as well, which from my research generally agreed to be kind of a bit more beginner friendly. Competition for attention for the consumers can be pretty high and pretty difficult to get their attention. Meanwhile, B2B services, you can just reach out to the businesses. So all those put together, it seemed like a good thing to do. And then I also like the idea that it is scalable to an extent, where I can buy my time back. I can build a team to run it, and I can use the experiences from this endeavor in future endeavors, as an entrepreneur. So I can kind of run multiple businesses. So that's the end goal ultimately.
So how did you go about finding these VAs for your company? I'm very curious.
Yeah, so I really got everything from a course. A lot of people will have very strong opinions on courses, people who sell courses and whatnot. I myself, one of them for many years. That if someone's selling you a course, it's probably a scam. They probably, if they were making so much money, they wouldn't need to sell a course to you. But at the same time, I think there's a time and a place for them. And at this point in my life, I think, and the offer that was presented and the way it was presented, it seemed reasonable enough for me. And so I learned a lot from the course, and including the process of finding outstanding VAs. Basically, the person has their story is having bad VAs and giving up on it, and then finding that there was people with good VAs and going back to the drawing board, coming up with a system that works, and then kind of all of his system comes in with the course. But really, to be honest, if you want to find a VA, you can just open up the window and yell. Like, they're out there. They're all over the place. It's really easy to find people who want to work as a VA. The tricky part is finding someone really good. And so that's where the kind of, it's really just a systematic process. Kind of automate some things, put in some time, asking the right questions, looking for the right signs, green flags, red flags, certain types of things, and then really just knowing the market, being able to position your offer to appeal to those quality candidates in the first place. So yeah, that's not the tricky part ultimately.
That's really cool. And so would you say that the what has been your biggest challenge with starting this business? Has it been vetting the VAs and making sure that they're really good caliber, or is there just more challenges to it than that?
I think that could be a challenge for me. It's been pretty easy. Probably again because of my work history, working in administrative work. being an assistant myself, being in leadership positions and having assistants, and kind of knowing what I'm looking for there, and kind of being able to assess the skills and the personality that you're looking for. So I've had really good success with my clients on that end. But by far and away, the most difficult part of the business, at least for me, has been marketing, getting my message out, getting my offer out to the right people at the right time. And so I've been trying different things and getting more and less success from different things. But there's marketing is a big wide world, and it's very expensive to play in. So I'm still figuring out that piece of the puzzle. That's the hardest part.
It reminds me of a quote I heard from someone where it's like marketing is a 9-letter word for the word test, and you just out there testing different things and seeing what resonates.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to ask you, kind of moving along with your journey with this business. So, what has been a pivotal moment in the journey of starting your business, or a story that you'd like to share?
I think it had to be my first sale. I think the first time you make money online, you find a customer on your own, and they're willing to pay you for your service. And then, of course, I delivered on the service and got a satisfied customer, who's now spreading the word for me, which that's the ideal situation. But there's definitely I've done some hard things in my life, and honestly, entrepreneurship has been the hardest from an emotional standpoint. I think the other work I've done before has been difficult from a it's mentally draining, it's physically exhausting, it's time consuming, that kind of thing. But this one's been the biggest thing emotionally, because you're not really sure. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, and you're not really sure if this is even going to work out at all. You're not. I guess with other types of work, you're on a clear path. You know where you have to go. You know what you have to do, and if you're working a job, you're getting paid. And so none of that is the case here. So as you're navigating in the dark, it's definitely a test of willpower, and believing in yourself. Really is the essence of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree. It's like one of those things where it almost forces you, entrepreneurship, to have that mindset that that you will find a way. And if you have to adopt that mindset, that I learned this quote from a good client of mine, Alyssa Waters, and she has this quote that rejection is simply redirection. In the beginning, though, I know I speaking really from myself, when I started my business, it's hard to at the beginning not take things personally when certain things or certain deals don't work out or certain clients don't work out. But it's interesting how a lot of the time when you look back and then you see that, oh, that's actually good that it didn't work out with that particular client or that particular deal. I was just going to ask you, so what has been the number one strategy you've been using so far to grow your business? Has it just been, you mentioned referrals, you
Mhm.
doing some things on social media, is it networking?
For me, it's 100% been networking. I think there are a couple factors that play into that. Number one, being living out here in Las Vegas, I think a lot of my customers are small and medium sized businesses, and we have a vibrant community out here. And it's not such a big town, and people like to get out and network and do business with people they meet. And from a competition standpoint, I'm the only virtual assistant headhunter in town, as far as I know. Other people offering similar services, but not the headhunting model. So I do have a bit of an advantage there, and I find that I'm able to tailor my message to the needs of the person that I'm speaking with. Maybe they want a VA to save some money. Maybe they want a VA to buy back their time. Maybe they don't know what a VA is, and I can explain to them the advantages of it. Meanwhile, marketing online, there's a lot of competition. Um, Not a ton of headhunters, but certainly plenty, and plenty of other businesses out there with big marketing budgets out there. And I have tried marketing online, but getting the right message to the right people, because you can try and say, "Hey, the labor is so cheap; it's less than $5 an hour." But there's some people who really not looking to save a buck; they're just looking for somebody reliable they can get in quickly, and They're not, when they hear $5 an hour, they think, well, this is cheap. You're going to get what you pay for, and that's not the message that needs to be communicated to them. And that they probably need to hear that these workers in the Philippines are some of the most professional, reliable,
Yeah, absolutely.
skilled, educated people that you're going to find. So I'm still trying to figure that out, how to get the right message to the right people online, but really networking and satisfying the customers. I think
One second.
doing an outstanding job, finding someone that they're really happy about. When they're impressed with the performance, then they go out and tell their friends, and that's worth 10,000 times me trying to sell it to them. I have customers that need VAs that need my service for a variety of reasons. Maybe like my first customer, he had been hiring his own VAs for 20 years, but he needed another VA and he wasn't doing it because he knows that there's a lot of work involved in doing it. And months were going by and he didn't want to do the work. He's too busy. He's too busy to go through the work. And so that's why he's paying me. Or someone who doesn't know what a virtual assistant is or the benefits and they need to be educated. Or somebody who is looking to save money. Or somebody who's tired of their frustrating headache employees and they just want to get somebody who they can trust and they're reliable. So all sorts of different reasons. And if my messaging is selling the wrong benefit to the wrong person, then it falls flat. And so I find that with networking, you're able to gauge what it is they're looking for and kind of sell it much more targeted in that way.
It's easier too because you're face to face with someone, and it's easier to build that relationship.
Hmm.
And I'm very curious. I would love to learn more about what is the difference, let me actually rephrase that question. What is like the main benefits of this headhunting VA model? I'm very curious to learn more about that.
So if you work with a typical agency, most businesses that are going to get you somebody outsourced work, they have this kind of agency model, which is appealing in the short term because they get you someone working in your business relatively quickly and at a relatively low rate, say $8, $9, $10 an hour. I mean, it definitely sounds way lower, and that you just get started and going. And if you don't like it, hopefully they didn't lock you into a contract, and you can kind of back out and not lose too much money. But what's really happening is you may be paying $8, $9, $10 an hour, but the virtual assistant that's working for you he'll be lucky to be getting half of that. And so the other half of it really just goes to the agency who they're really not even doing much. So when you think about your costs in the long term, when half of your money is going nowhere, it really adds up. So it's definitely the more expensive option here. So with a headhunter, I set you up directly with them. It's still a customized hire to meet your needs. So not only are you saving in the long run, but also I'm working from a larger talent pool. They're going to get you someone they have on their staff, and they might brag about having a staff of, a couple hundred, a couple thousand, even. I'm not sure if anybody really has more than 10,000. I mean, I'd be impressed. But still, my talent pool is literally the entire country, so of the Philippines. So I can I'm seeing who's available on the market today and vetting them from scratch just for you. Really, those are kind of the advantages there.
Absolutely. And so many businesses could benefit from that. I mean, especially when it comes to outreach and certain things like that, businesses, especially if they're like looking to if they're like a business that does a lot of networking and things in person and they want to hire a VA to do, outreach on LinkedIn, let's say, for example, or cold email, I could definitely see that being a benefit. Would you say?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's lots of different opportunities there. Whether you, my general advice is you want to get a virtual assistant in to take over the tasks that you know how to do, but you don't like doing, or that you need to do more of. Uh, so you can take the system you're already using and train them up. So that is kind of why I named the company Amplify Yourself. You're able to do more of what you're already doing by kind of replicating yourself by taking your knowledge and giving it to somebody else. So maybe you love doing outreach and you hate doing paperwork on the back end, billing, following up on leads, customer service, that kind of stuff. And so you want to get your VA to take care of that boring stuff while you do the outreach. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you could do paperwork all day and you hate doing outreach. So uh, either way, we get somebody to fill the holes in your business.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And that's a good way to think about it. It's like the things that you do that you just don't particularly enjoy, and but needs to be done nonetheless, and then just have them do that. So I'm very curious. What do you what are your future plans with Amplify Yourself? Where do you see your business going in the future? What future plans do you have? All that fun stuff.
Well, I'd like to get a better system, a more reliable system for acquiring new customers. I've got that flywheel spinning. I think I've gotten from 0 to 1 at this point. The momentum is there, so I need to just capitalize on that and push forward. And I'd like to get a reliable digital marketing strategy off the ground to acquire customers online as well. Once I can get a reliable flow coming in, I'd like to build up a team of my own VAs, train them up on everything I've been learning from along the way so far, and get a team to buy back my time. Really, another reason I didn't mention before that I started up this kind of business completely online, can be done completely remotely, assuming you're able to get customers without networking around town. That is, I would like to travel the world. I've been wanting to do that since I was in my teens, and it's been many years, and still haven't done it. Still haven't even been to most of the other continents, to be honest. So I would like it to be a bit of a lifestyle business where I can travel the world. And what I would do, hopefully, is use my travels as my marketing. Basically, the shtick would be, how am I relaxing on this beach and this tropical island when I'm supposed to be running a business? Oh, that's right. I have my virtual assistants running my business for me. So that, so if I can travel the whole world and have this business cover my costs, that'd be ideal. But beyond that, I don't know, can't spend the rest of my life traveling. Beyond that, I would like to leverage my experiences and my team into other types of businesses, whether that's in real estate or buying and selling businesses, or e-commerce businesses or other online opportunities. Um, but I'll have to figure those out down the road.
Very cool. They're very cool, and that's nice to live that. I think they call it a digital nomad lifestyle, where
Right.
you're have that awesome digital business, and you're able to travel and go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
um, with that remote work. So that's awesome. That's an awesome vision, and I'm very curious. Also, oh, not, I was also going to say that is there anything that you would like to share or add, or anything that people should know about VAs, that you'd like to share with the audience?
There's a lot of misconceptions out there. I think that hold people back from approaching this concept. So I'll just kind of list out the biggest, most common ones. First of all, English. They're always concerned about their ability to speak English, accent or not, written English, grammar errors, that kind of thing. That's one of the reasons I specialize in the Philippines. They've got outstanding English. You can find great people with great English around the world. There's plenty of bad ones, that's for sure. Plenty of people with very poor English out there, but you can find success there. That honestly, you can get someone with essentially no accent too. And then in terms of like time zones, um, they work your time zone. It's not uncommon for them to wake up at 11 o'clock at night to work the night shift to work your time zone. So that's not a concern at all. People think they'll disappear on you and be unreliable. Again, it's just a matter of finding the right person. You can find people to work with you 10 plus years, showing up on time every day, communicating every time there's any sort of issues, and then just they're thrown off by the price. It can't possibly How can it possibly be that cheap? Really, 100% of the reason it's that cheap is just the cost of living. The cost of living where they are, they can pay all their bills, raise their family, and be comfortable at the $5 an hour, because that's what it costs to live out there. It's not because they're worth that little. It's because it's just a little bit of a geographic arbitrage there. But you are saving 80%, and you're getting the same quality you would get from someone local. So I think those are the real big ones that hold people back.
Very awesome, Eric. That is awesome, and definitely that is what people need to know when it comes to considering hiring a virtual assistant.
Mhm.
Because there's all kinds of information out there online, and it's easy for people to get overwhelmed. So I really appreciate you sharing that, Eric. And is there anything else that you would like to share before we wrap on out of here?
Yeah, a little message to anybody who, like myself, has considered entrepreneurship for many years, and maybe read about it or listened to some podcasts or uh, joined some groups or had some friends who got into it, and then something's kind of holding you back to do it. Everybody says it's difficult, for sure. If anybody's telling you it's easy, I think they're being a little bit disingenuous there. Um, and ultimately, I think it's worth it. Even just 6 months in, with all the struggles I've had, I think you see the people at the other end who are successful, the big successful entrepreneurs, the influencers. These are the people you hear all the time, and they're telling you it's worth it. And it's easy to believe in them because they've made it. But there's a lot of people who haven't made it, or who give up, or who have to fold their business, and you don't really hear from them so much, and they might try to deter you away from it. And it's difficult. There's no question about it. Again, I've done very difficult things. It's the most difficult thing I've done. But I would say, if you're if you're worried about doing it, you don't have to do it today. Wait till the right time. I waited many years, but don't live your whole life without trying it. You got to do something, whether it's on the side or whether you're in a place financially where you can go all in. But don't give up on it. It's kind of the path to achieving the American dream. And if you have the slightest inkling you want to do it, you got to go for it, or you'll regret it.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful message, Eric. And it's definitely true too, also that, you know, the most successful entrepreneurs out there, you know, a lot of people really know those stories of their success. But a lot of people aren't aware of how many times they failed before they had that successful business. Like Steve Jobs is a great example. Like he failed many times before launching Apple. But most people don't know that, so that is definitely true. And yeah, that's definitely, if you feel that inkling to do it, you just gotta go for it when you feel you're ready. But
Hmm.
anyway, I was gonna say also, before we go, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, Eric, online?
So I've got my website. It's amplifyyourselfnow.com. There's some great information on there, and I'm working to add some more information as well. But you can easily click the link and set up a call. It's going to be directly with me. It's not going to be not a virtual assistant, at least not yet. So if you're listening to this soon after publication and you want to chat with me or you want to hear about a VA, set up a call. It's totally free, and I'll let you know everything you need to know.
Awesome. That is awesome, Eric. Well, I appreciate you again coming on the show, and everyone make sure to check him out. If you have any questions about VAs, this is the guy to chat with. So definitely feel free to reach out to him. And anyway, thank you so much, everyone, tuning in and watching this episode. I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay classy.